About 3 months of tracking, and the longest part was the mixing.
More than 3 months?
Well, no, let's see. September to October, October to November, November to December. Yeah, it was 3 months to do all the tracking and overdubs, and then it took a month of mixing. I mean, if you figure 4 guys had to do 5 things, and then all the other overdubs, and the longest actual portion was the month of mixing. You know, some songs took like 2-3 days to mix.
Right. But they're all the way you want them?
Yeah. Most definitely. We could start if you want to start getting some footage before Nick comes.
Okay.
Just so that you don't get your interview time cut off, because I gotta. Well, we're going to.
Okay, how long do you think okay? Alright, you want to introduce yourself first for the viewers that don't know.
Okay.
Speaking about Megadeth.
Okay. My name's Dave Mustaine, and I'm the guitar player, singer, songwriter in Megadeth. And I've been with the band ever since the beginning. And the band's been around since about 1983, 1984, unofficially. We have 8 records out, 1 on Combat, and we have 7 on Capitol.
Okay. Let's introduce the new album then. Let's go straight into that.
Okay. The new record is called Cryptic Writings, and there's 12 songs on the American release, which is pretty much the same in the rest of the world except for Japan. Japan has 13 songs. They have an additional track called One Thing, and I don't know that you cannot get it or that you won't want it. Put it this way, if a person's a real fan of any band, they're going to want to get every song they ever did. I know I bought hundreds of AC/DC records just to get weird songs. So, anyways.
Like AC/DC. We're wondering if you still listen to metal, what kind of music you're listening, what would be in your CD changer?
What would be in my CD changer right now? I don't have a CD player. I have like a DAT machine.
Okay.
And it's just pretty much basically new bands that I'm reviewing. And what's in my cassette deck is listening to mixes of singles and edits and stuff like that, because the songs, not all of them, are the proper, appropriate length for radio or MTV. You got to make little snips here and there.
Right. That's cool. So you don't listen to some of the new bands, metal bands?
Well, I just heard a new Offspring song that I like. I heard the new Metallica record I like. I heard the new Misfits record is really good, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. There's just there's all kinds of stuff that I listen to. Sorry about that. There's all kinds of stuff that I listen to, but nothing that I would really say is like my favorite right now. I like Stabbing Westward. I like The Hunger. Some of these different types of bands, but then I like the old school stuff too.
Sure. You said you like Load?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's a good record. It's not necessarily Ride the Lightning.
Sure.
But everybody thinks that I would hate it. And I hear James's voice, and that's basically what Metallica is about. James's voice and right hand, down picking and stuff. And even though there's not a lot of down picking on that, there's still some good songs there.
I think people are more shocked by their image than the record.
Oh, those photo layout.
They're just moving along.
You want to introduce yourself, Nick?
Hi, I'm Nick Menza, drummer of Megadeth. Antics and
Conspiracies.
Spreading.
You've had the same lineup for a long time now. Why do you think you've been able to keep it, whereas in the past you've had problems?
He can't get rid of me. He's tried, but I just won't go away.
Gotcha.
I think in the beginning, we were trying to force square pegs into round holes. Trying to take 2 jazz players and then show them what the vision of Megadeth is. They were jazz players. Me, I can play jazz if I want to. I can play hard rock or heavy metal if I want to. I can play whatever I want. I've played on reggae records, and I actually did a solo on a guy named Ned Sublet's record that was a country guy. So I can play anything. Now I describe Megadeth as being just that, Megadeth, because it means everything. It doesn't just mean that we're heavy metal or that we're oh, black metal, this kind of stuff. We can play whatever we want, I mean, I don't see us ever doing hip-hop or rave or dance or house stuff like that, because, I don't want to have to, have like 400 or 500 things stuck through my flesh in order to fit into a club.
Well, for collectors, what reggae albums
It was the I think it was called the Ganja Brothers or something. They paid me in pot, so I was up mixing the So Far So Good So What record, and we ran out of pot, and the guys were in the next room, and they had great pot, and they said, you know what, you play on the record, and we'll give you some. And I went, sure, man, I'll be in there. And I went in there and I flailed with no distortion at all, and it was just like think, and I was just like, oh God, no wonder everybody has to be stoned to listen to this stuff,
That's great. Why do you think Megadeth lasted, whereas a lot of bands have drifted away and you've been doing it forever,
Because, I don't know, I think it's that we don't try and, scam our fans. We don't try and pull a fast one with anybody.
Yeah, we don't contrive anything we do. It's all music that we enjoy to make and comes from our hearts, that makes us feel good and that we believe in. If we don't believe in it, you're certainly not going to believe in it, and we're the ones who have to get up there and play it every night. So, I mean, it boils down to delivering substance, quality music, and priding ourselves on really being musicians. I mean, we're not actors. We can perform.
Yeah, Nick said something to, I can't remember what the name of the band was. I think it was Candle Wax or something, and Nick had said something to the guy. It was like, what is it, Candlebox?
Candlebox, yeah.
Yeah, Candle Wax, close. Candlebox. He said something about, that they'd had some career paranoia about their next record, and this is what Nick told me. He told him was that, if you write a song that you hate and you have to play it every night, you're going to hate playing. So, I mean, I think the bottom line is why we're still successful is because we write what we like playing, and people like what we play, and they know when they open up a Megadeth CD, they're going to get good stuff. It's like, when I used to buy Stolnitsnya vodka, I knew every time I took that cap off, it was going to be great vodka. It's like I know every time when I would pop a Heineken's open, it would be a great beer. Or whenever, I would do the things that I used to do, like firing up the old guitar. It would be great sound. The lights go out, Megadeth show starts, you're in for a ride. I think the fans can depend on that.
Okay. And I've seen you countless times, Megadeth, I've seen you a couple times play, but from those early Metro shows and stuff you did, there was a magic. Do you feel that same magic every time you play? Because I've seen shows where they weren't as good, but, some of the shows were just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to remember, too, where were you in the building sonically? Where were we during the course of a work week? If we're working 5 days in a row and you caught the 5th show out of 5,
right,
we're probably going to be a little tired. It's kind of like grudge sex, where you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, the beginning of it's great, but after about 4 or 5 hours, it gets to be a drag. Needless to say, you start looking like hamburger meat. And for us, when we do a show, I got to sing for an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. You do that times 5, you're talking almost 8 hours. 8 hours of singing in a week's period, it don't happen. And if my voice isn't feeling good, I don't have the pride that I do about my performance. And if I'm not singing the best that I can, it doesn't matter how great the rest of the guys are playing, I don't feel like I'm delivering. And when you're playing with guys like Nick and Dave and Marty, you want to give your best because they do. It's a drag for me. I wish I played with shitty guys because it would be a lot easier for me to just slough it, But, I've got some of the best musicians in the world in this band, and it's a drag sometimes, when I don't feel up to par.
I'll tell you another factor that comes into play is depending on the environment we're in. If we're in a really small club and it's smoky and hot, I think Dave and I suffer the most because he's singing and breathing, and I'm working hard playing my drums and breathing, and we breathe in all this secondhand smoke, and it's such an enclosed environment that after about 30, 40 minutes of that, and another 40 minutes to go, it's taking its toll on us. And, like you said, if it's the 5th show and you're seeing us at the end of the week, we're looking at each other going,
yeah, Calgon, take me away.
help. world.
I mean, it's cool sometimes, like, you know, if you're in there and people are, you know, having a good time, getting liquored up and getting high, and you know that they're going to get laid because they're in a great mood, and then they're giving that to us and we're giving it back to them and stuff like that. But if you're in a place where people are, you know, starting fights and stuff and people haven't bathed for a few days, it's like, you know, it's like kind of like you're playing in a big bowl of French onion soup. It's kind of gross, you know.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Let's get into the new album. Maybe some of the tracks that you may make a single or a video, because then we could mix it in, edit it together.
Well, we just made a video for Trust, which is going to be the first single. Comes out May 22nd, I believe.
No, May 12th. The video, we're going to be able to see the video on this Friday.
Oh, okay.
Well, for us to look at. You can't see it yet.
Yeah. But yeah, we just made that in Los Angeles last weekend, 3-day shoot. And I have no idea what the concept is or what it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be pretty interesting.
What's the concept of the song?
Basically, it's about a relationship that goes really wrong. You know, for me, I had this girl that I was engaged to prior to getting married, and this is a Latino girl who just was on fire. And, you know, there's something about Latino girls in me that just does something for me. I married a girl that's blonde, blue-eyed Dutch girl, so it shows you that basically I had enough. But, you know, there's something about a Latino girl that just does something to me. And I wanted to be with her so bad that I would lie every chance I had to in order to continue to get high, to party with my friends, and keep her. You know, and I recently saw her in Los Angeles a little while ago, and I had to talk to her about the way that I broke up with her, because I did it in a really uncool fashion. You know, I didn't go and make eye contact with her and tell her it was over, because I knew I couldn't look in her eyes because she was so beautiful and say it's over, because both of my heads would have been saying no.
Well, when you ran into her, were you trying to get her again? Or?
No. Actually, you know what, I talked to her a little bit, and I said, man, I feel really bad because, you know, here I am completely clean and sober, and my life has changed, and I'm together now, and I feel bad because you didn't get to experience me like this. And I talked to her the next day, and I said, I felt kind of weird about, you know, talking to you, because it kind of seemed like you were on Prozac or something, because, you know, you just sat there and kind of looked at me like, you know, you were enjoying watching me squirm. And she said, no, I know it was really hard for you, and I've been thinking a lot about you. And I said, oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? What have you been thinking? And we started talking, and she said that the fire got lit again, and I just went, you know, because I could go down that road real quick, and I would lose my honor, and I would lose my self-esteem. And I know that my son right now has an awesome father, and that, you know, I'm not like that today. And I know when he grows up, he's going to be able to say, that is my dad. You know?
You want to play guitar?
I don't know. I don't know, because the guitar's gotten me in a lot of trouble.
I got him a drum set for his birthday, but Dave wasn't too happy about that.
He was 2 years old with a drum set. What do kids 2 years old do? They beat on things.
All right. So what you want to hear all day?
Well, needless to say, it's like almost 50 to 75 yards away from our house. We've got a studio that the band has on my property that's way in the back, way, 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 way far away. And that's where his little drum set is.
That's cool. Let's get into some of the other songs. And with, you know, you saying you changed down everything. Is this considering the album of your career? Or,
I think
a lot of time doing it.
I think this record didn't take as long as some of the other ones did. So Far So Good So What was just an absolute abomination to make. You know, I decided I was going to quit doing heroin, and then I wasn't going to do it, and then I was, and I wasn't, and we had it mixed twice by 2 different guys, and the first guy mixed it like twice, so it got mixed 3 times. And then the third time we had a guy named Michael Wagner mix it, and when I would leave the studio, Jeff Young would go in there and you know, do another recall and just totally just gas the thing up with reverb. So that record for me was really a pain in the butt. This record was absolutely effortless. You know, the band, I mean, you know, we couldn't have got any closer if we would have had sex with one another. We just were so tight when we came in there. We were happy. It's great coffee. When we get there, this guy buys us 20 pounds of Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee, which is $50 a pound, and he gives it to us. So that's 20 times 50 is what? $1,000? $1,000 worth of coffee the guy gave me. As soon as we get in there, we're drinking Jamaica Blue Mountain during all the basic tracks. That's why some of those little ditties at the end are so zippy, you know. And when you think about songs like FFF and She-Wolf and Vortex and the Disintegrators, those songs are that speed for a good reason, you know, because we're capable of playing like that, and we were feeling great when we did it.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Nick's not a coffee guy.
I don't drink coffee either, just Jolt and iced tea.
Jolt.
Yeah, that's like coffee in a
Worse.
bottle.
Carbonated
I don't
coffee.
like the taste of coffee.
Hey, that's cool.
I put like sugar and stuff in room. But anyway,
Yeah, well, let me ask you a question like this. You like the taste of pussy and you still eat it, right?
exactly.
Okay. Think about what that tastes like.
Absolutely true. There hasn't been.
I had to cover that up. I didn't mind. What?
Metal.
There hasn't been a Megadeth best of. What would you think is the best of Megadeth?
The best of Megadeth?
Right. You haven't put out an album. I mean,
That's something you put out when your career's over. Your greatest hits.
or would you put the combat stuff with the Capitol if you could? And
There probably would be one or two of the combat songs, you know. I mean, we've got 8 records now,
Right.
and if you took 2 songs off every record, I wouldn't even begin to be able to tell you what songs off this new record. But off of the last record, I would say it was Train and Atula Mon. Off of Countdown, it would have to be Sweating Bullets and Symphony. Off of Rust in Peace, it would have to be Holy Wars and Hangar 18. Off of So Far So Good So What, it'd have to be In My Darkest Hour and Anarchy. Off of Peace House, it would have to be Wake Up Dead and Peace Cells. Off of Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, I don't know, maybe Boots and Killing Is My Business or Skull Beneath the Skin. Maybe Mechanics. See, the problem with playing the Mechanics, though, is that, you know, a lot of people's butt grows together when they hear that because they think we're doing the Four Horsemen.
Right.
And actually, the Four Horsemen is the Mechanics. So I don't want to have to explain that shit every time I play it. So sometimes we'll play it, sometimes we won't.
I gotcha. That's cool.
Some idiot sent me an email and said, when are they going to release Detroit Rock City? They played it live. and the thing was, you know, I was a big Kiss fan, and the beginning riff to that is kind of like na 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 na, you know, whatever. And the Mechanics is down so it's kind of the same thing. You know, I mean, there's never been anybody that's written an original song. I mean, there's only 12 notes, and sooner or later someone's got to borrow one. You know, so, but when they said that we had done Detroit Rock City, I'm just thinking like, God, man, pass it around, bro, whatever you're doing.
Did you go to Kiss?
No, I did not.
I did.
How could you miss it?
It just doesn't do anything for me anymore.
I got a free ticket.
You know,
couldn't help it.
Gene said something like a real cunt to me, and it really bothered me. We were at a panel someplace. I think it was Foundations Forum, and someone said, "Hey, Gene, how about a Kiss reunion?" And he says, "Is there any chance of a Kiss reunion?" And I was excited. I genuinely said, "Yeah, how about a Kiss reunion?" He goes, "How about a Metallica reunion, Dave?" And I just thought, "You're a dick. You have no respect for the dead." You know? Because Cliff's dead. There's no way to go back.
Good point. With the project with Lee Ving, is that something you do again? Or?
No, not that particular band. Lee's a fabulous person. The players on that was great. It was really fun for me, but that just showed me how much I really loved this band. I needed to get some stuff out of my brain, and it helped. It was very therapeutic for me. But, you know, nothing compares to this band. I mean, I could go on and do all kinds of side stuff, but see, I'm in a band. I'm not into, you know, doing session crap and playing on tribute records with other people and doing all this extra stuff, because that's not what being in a band's about. I mean, if you're done with the tour and you have some free time on your hands, you want to do stuff like that, that's cool. But even if I did do that, I would let the other band members know. I wouldn't just mysteriously pop up on Joe Schmucko's record, you know?
This could be a weird question, but we have a special show coming out called Parades. Do you guys ever been in a parade and marching band or any weird floating Marty Gras or anything?
No. My favorite parade so far has been the parade scene in Animal House.
Yeah, when they break in?
When they take that death car.
That's cool. Let's see. Moving forward, this Megadeth will continue to change and develop how you...
I don't know that we've changed at all. We've just continued the maturation process, you know. We had to do certain things to get to the ultimate lineup. We're here finally. And as we learn more about playing, it's just like with Led Zeppelin. I mean, there's a lot of similarities with us. You know, the first record, people, you know, they see that there's a lot of potential there, and then as records come out, more and more pressure gets put onto the band. And then ultimately, you know, the drummer dies. Just kidding.
Let's talk about the personalities. Maybe the other guys aren't here since they don't have a chance to speak. Maybe you could.
We can talk about them.
Yeah.
So what would you want to know?
Well, I mean, you got Marty. You've heard him before, and did you seek him out?
No.
No.
He actually had one of his friends, Bob Nalbandian from Metal Mania, I think was the name of the magazine, had sent a CD of Cacophony. Or no, maybe it wasn't Cacophony. Maybe it was just Marty's solo
Friedman,
thing. Yeah, Dragon's Kiss. And there was a picture of him there too. And Nick and I and David were auditioning guys, and it was so weird. You know, guys would come in and they'd say, "All right, I'm here. Show me the songs." Huh? You come in to audition? You want me to show you the songs? How about if I show you the door? You know, and the other guys would come in and they'd, you know, this one guy in particular, he comes in and we fire up Wake Up Dead and he goes like,
He's playing solos in the intro, and Dave's like, "Hey, whoa. And I knew when these guys didn't like someone, they'd turn off their wirelesses and leave the room, and I'd be standing there going, we'll give you a call. Well, that's it? That's all we're jamming? I'm like, yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming. We'll call you later.
And when Marty came in?
He didn't come in. We saw a picture of him and he had two different color hair, and I just looked at these guys and I just said, "You gotta be kidding." And we stuck it on a shelf and we just didn't listen to it. And after we had auditioned just about every guy in the planet except for a couple of Eskimos up in Iceland, I decided to give it a whirl, and we put the CD in, and I heard the first arpeggio. He went across and I went, "This guy wants to play with us?" You know, I figured, you know, granted we're gonna have to give him a box of, you know, like Just for Men or something, you know, and you know, kind of groom him a little bit. But when we heard him, it was just phenomenal. He comes to rehearsal. He knew the songs, but he did not know the songs. And he was playing, and you just see his fingers going all over the place. And he had this real crappy amp, and he had a guitar tech that ended up working with us. But I couldn't hear him, so I finally said, "You know what? Stop. And I went over and I plugged his guitar cord into one of my rigs, and I plugged the guitar cord from that into a lead box. And I said, "When it comes time to hit the lead, to do your lead, push that button." And we're playing along, and then he hits the button, and boom, he did the lead exact. Rhythm-wise, he didn't have it. Lead-wise, he did. I click off my cordless. I go to the phone and I talk to my manager and I said, "Hey, Ron, this guy's he's definitely the guy for the job." But I said, "Man, we can't have a guy in the band named Friedman." You know, he said, "That's not metal," you know. And he goes, "Dave, he's an established guitar player," you know. And I went like, because I mean, you know, when David Ellefson joined the band, I thought we can't have two Daves. So I said, "What's your middle name?" And he said, "Warren." And I went, "Well, how about Warren?" He said, "No." And I said, "Junior." And you know, that name's kind of stuck. And Nick was showing me a magazine this morning. We just looked at it. We were over at another place here in town, and it said, "Junior does this," and I'm thinking, God, his butt would just grow right together if he saw that was in print, you know.
You want to round out the lineup then?
Round it out?
Right. No. Bass?
Oh, David Ellefson? Dave, I just left Metallica. I'd gone home. I moved home, I took my luggage, I dropped it off where my mom was living, and then I went straight up to Hollywood and got an apartment up there. And I met this guy named Robbie Crowley, or was his name? Robbie Cromwell. And he would play overhand on the guitar like this with two hands on there, really weird stuff. And that's how I began the beginning for Love to Death. I did it with overhand stuff. And I'm sitting in my apartment, and I'm totally hungover, and I'm hearing this boom, 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 wow, dun, dun, boom, boom. You know, he's doing Running with the Devil, and I'm going like, I'm gonna kill this guy. So I open up the window. Shut up! You know, he slammed the window again, right? It's quiet, and I lay back down. Boom, boom, boom. He probably went, looked upstairs and went, "Oh, okay, God," you know, and he starts playing again, and I freaked out. I grabbed a flower pot and I went, whoosh, and I threw it, and it hit his air conditioner and splattered everywhere. And him and this friend of his named Greg Handavid, this big kid, they both come up and they knock on the door. And I open up the door, "What?" You know, and I was hungover and I was pissed, and the devil had just answered the door, and I don't think Dave expected it. Dave's in bell-bottom blue jeans with canvas Nikes and a black leather jacket that was like a smoking jacket with a belt around it, tied in a knot. And I'm looking at him going like, it's like a redneck Hugh Hefner in training. And I said, I asked him what he wanted, and the guy goes, well, you know where to get some cigarettes? And I said, on the corner, and I slammed the door. And then I didn't hear any footsteps, and I hear this, you old enough to buy beer? And I went, all right, you got a friend now. And we went down, we bought a case of Heinekens, and we sat and drank, and it was history ever since. Dave and I became partners, and we've been together for 13 years.
Great. If you have any final comments, I also want to, it's kind of an odd subject again, but you heard the Bad Mentors news?
No.
Richie died a week ago.
He did?
Yeah, he was hit by a train walking back from the store. And I was kind of...
And the train's okay?
Yeah, that's what else said. But we're trying to see, I was maybe going to do a tribute because I've done some fun stuff with them, and you have a good story with...
Yeah, I got a good story of El Duce. We were at Cafe de Grand in Los Angeles, and El Duce was there. He was really, really drunk. And I was still using at the time, so I was spending a lot of time going back and forth from the table to the bathroom. And I think he was still using, and so much that he was going from bathroom to bathroom. He would go from the boys' bathroom to the girls' bathroom, and he would go in there with the stick hanging out, and he had a stir stick, and he kept flipping his penis with the stir stick. And he had this empty beer bottle. He kept like trying to get beer out of, like, I guess he thought he was Jesus and he could make it, fill back up again. And then he kept trying to stick the end of it in his behind. And then he'd try and drink off of it. I'm thinking, like, I guess that's recycling of a different fashion I've never experienced before. And I remember the girls got really mad because he kept walking in on him, and they slammed him a few times and threw him out. Me and David Ellefson were there when we saw this, and gives you a whole new meaning when you think about those stir sticks. I'll never forget seeing a guy there playing, like tag with himself.
That's an interesting one. Well, if you have any final comments, I want to get an ID for the show, but if you want to plug anything.
Just, you know what? If you like the record, buy it twice. We'll be here during the summer, and for people to hear the first couple of songs, the fans that are the fans of the heavy stuff, it's at the end of the record.
Okay. The show's called Mind Melt. We do encompass a lot of different music. We usually stuff like Dio and Motorhead, and go through you fall into like the classic metal section. And if you just say, this is Megadeth, you're watching Mind Melt.
We're in the what metal section?
Like classic,
Is that like classic, like old guys, or?
No, like
dude,
stuff
we're
everybody
active.
knows,
We're active metal.
So is Motorhead.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, this is Nick Menza,
I'm Dave Mustaine, and you're watching Mind Melt.
and we'll melt your mind.
I need one more for Chicago Rock Brigade, another guy that does the show, and he always plays the videos and loves the
Chicago Rock Brigade?
Uh-huh.
Hi, this is Nick Menza.
I'm Dave Mustaine. We're from Megadeth, and this is Chicago Rock Brigade.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah. That's great.